Have you ever wondered what separates the best from the rest? And no, it's not the hidden power-ups or the intense training montages. It's about pushing ourselves beyond what we thought we were capable of, just like some of our favorite characters do. And in this video, I'm going to go over exactly what is excellence, what it should mean to you, and one key concept you need to master in order to get to that next level. So starting off, what is excellence? Excellence can be defined as a quality of being outstanding or extremely good. So something that's basically just better than normal, better than the average, you pretty much the pinnacle of whatever it is that we're talking about. It means to be the best of the best, to be extraordinary, and all these different synonyms that you can use. And I think that we have a tendency to kind of get hooked on just the status quo, right? Being average, being normal. I mean, which true is human nature, right? We're very tribalistic in that we want to fit in. We want to not stand out too much. But at the same time, I know a lot of us also want to strive for excellence, or we are striving for excellence. We want to be the best of the best. So how do we do that? How do we find that type of balance? If there is a balance, right? And the important thing to know is, first of all, to figure out how does excellence apply to you, or what is, like another way to say it, what is your own definition of excellence? So let me pose you this question. Why do you strive for excellence? Why do you strive for greatness? Why are you trying to be more than? I mean, you can be honest. I mean, we're all honest here. There's no real wrong answers, but it's important for you to know why you're doing this, because it's not easy, right? It's not something that everyone just goes through, that everyone does, but it's important for you to know why you're doing it. Are you trying to be great because someone told you to, or are you doing it of your own accord? Because if you're trying to live someone else's life, then you're never gonna make it, right? And I mean anybody. It can be your parents, it can be your guardian, your mentors, or even people that you look up to, and they may mean well for you. Yeah, especially if they really love you and they want you to try. They want you to be better than what you're capable of now. But it's important for you to understand and to figure out, do you want to be great because of them, or is it really something intrinsic to you, something deep in your belief system that, hey, I know there's more out there for me, and I'm gonna achieve it. So let's just say you figured out why you want to be excellent. Let's just say it's because, all right, I want to be excellent. I want to be great because I know God put something in me that needs to be shared with the world, that I need to master and to really come to terms with. Cool. Now, obviously, I applaud you, because that's the first step. And the next step is envisioning, what does that look like? What is your own brand of greatness, of excellence? What does that look like to you? Does it look like being a millionaire? Does it look like being super famous on TV? Or does it look like, starting a family, having, 6 kids, and just being real successful at your job? All of these things are excellent. All of these things are great. But it's important for you to get a clear picture on what your version looks like, because not everyone lives the same life. Not everyone has the same idea of what should be done or how things should be done and things like that. So it's important for you to understand why you're doing this, and what is it going to look like in the end. Because again, someone else's idea of excellence doesn't necessarily have to be yours. And I know for me personally, that was a concept I had to really kind of come to terms with and really understand, is that what other people think may be good and wonderful and excellent may not be what I think. And oftentimes not. But again, back to the whole idea, the whole mindset that we have to be, that we try to be a part of the tribe, that we try to conform to what the people say about us, what people expect out of us. We try to have the same expectations as the people around us, but that's not always the case. And sometimes it's just better to go your own way. So So let's say you figure out why you want to be excellent, why you want to be. Let's say you know what your goal is and what it looks like. So what do you do now that you're at the top? Just take a moment and imagine that after all the hard work that you've put in, all the time, effort, money, whatever it is, after everything has been said and done, you're there, you've made it, you're at the top. What does it look like? What does winning look like to you? Is it something that's gonna keep you going for many years after that, or is it one of those, all right, I've reached my goal and now I don't know what to do? Because a part of that goes back into understanding what your vision looks like. Because I know a lot of people, they have a singular goal in mind, and once they reach that goal, they have no idea, they have no clue on what to do next, and they just then they're stuck, right? And the thing that they strive so hard to get doesn't even fulfill them, because maybe one, they don't even know why they're doing it. Two, maybe they try to get that goal because someone else told them to. It wasn't even really something that they wanted to do. Or three, maybe they got there, they were so focused on that one particular goal that they didn't even think about what happens next, what happens after that, because that goal seemed so mountainous that they couldn't even conquer it. But they did, and now they're sitting there with their hands up like this, like, I don't know what to do next. So what you think about in your own vision, on your own goal journey to excellence? What's the next thing that you're gonna do? What are you gonna do once you conquer this journey? How is it gonna continue? And when I had this idea for this video, again, you guys know me, I'm a huge anime fan, right? Look at the channel. But one of my favorite anime right now is Blue Lock. And love him or hate him, when the main characters on there, who I personally love is Baro. And I always love these type of characters who they start off as pretty much jerks, let's be honest, and they have this not all of a sudden transformation, but it's a gradual thing that you see with them, where they're not as much of jerks as they was before. They're actually likable now, but they still keep that sense of self, right? They don't feel like they've completely changed as a character. They're not as rough around the edges anymore. And anyway, so what I was thinking about this video was about Baro, because Baro's idea of excellence, it stems from him being the best striker, best soccer player on the pitch, and from scoring his own goal, winning by scoring his own goal. Right? He doesn't like to pass, doesn't like having anyone else's scraps, as he says. And I think the important thing about that whole thing is that it's not just about scoring his own goals, it's about doing it his own way. Because as I'm sure a lot of us know, soccer is a team sport, right? And there's no one man or woman out there that can do it all. And that directly counteracts with Baro's identity of himself, right? He doesn't like to conform to other people's plans, other people's methods about scoring and things like that. So he's constantly just being the demon king of the pitch, because no one knows what he's going to do next, because he'll go so far as to steal the ball from his own teammate, just so he has an opportunity to score his own goal, even if his own goal isn't there's no way he's going to score from wherever he's at. But it's just that idea in his head. That's his idea of excellence. That's his idea of being the greatest. And the reason I like this so much, because even whether it's right or wrong, it's such a strong thing for him that he fully believes in it and he fully chases after it. And that's the biggest takeaway I have from watching this character, is that he doesn't let anyone knock him off his game, right? Except for Isagi that one time. But after that, he never let anyone else knock him off his game. And actually that obstacle with Isagi caused Baro to grow up some, to actually mature into his own playing style and realize, okay, I need to be better, because what I've been doing now isn't gonna cut it. And honestly, again, Baro just kind of teaches we have to be strong enough to follow our own path, no matter no matter the naysayers, no matter the obstacles, no matter what happens, we had to be strong enough in ourselves. We had to be, our self-awareness has to be super, super high, and our belief in ourselves has to be high enough where we can't be easily swayed. It can be easily swayed. And again, as a believer, as a Christian, we're taught to believe in God for that type of awareness. And just recently, one of the sermons I heard at church talked about having deep roots, being planted, in our faith, in the Lord, in the Word, in scriptures, and that rings true in this very idea, this whole concept of being great. Because on the journey to greatness, on the journey to excellence, there's going to be times when things aren't going to be going in your favor, right? Life happens, the world's going to end, all this type of stuff. Maybe you break it with your partner, maybe you get laid off at work, or maybe you failed that big exam for your class, right? Things are going to happen, and it's important to be rooted in God, in your faith, and to know that, okay, these are just setbacks. They're not always going to be like this, and we're going to make it to the other side. Because when it comes to greatness and excellence, it's not about never falling. It's about falling down and getting back up. And that's honestly what separates the winners and the losers. And so another character I kind of want to go over who's very similar to Baru is Vegeta, because Vegeta's idea of excellence was originally just him being stronger than Goku. Let's be honest, he's Prince of all Saiyans, which is what, 2.5 of them at the time, right? It was you're Prince of nothing essentially. But his whole identity was just being better than Goku. That's what his idea of excellence was just being better than this low-class warrior, right? Someone who was beneath him. But after years of dealing with this, and then coming to the terms with the fact that Goku is in fact stronger than him, and there's not really much he can do to close that gap outside of Goku not taking him seriously, then he actually changed his perspective and decided that being the best meant more than just being better than one person. It meant being true to his word and keeping his pride and believing into his Saiyan pride. And if Vegeta, he's all about his pride. Just that's his character. If you change his name, it would be pride. Let's be honest. But Vegeta has such a strong identity, and I think that's pivotal in striving for greatness, because you have to know who you are and what you can and can't do. I know a lot of these videos are about you can do anything that you set your mind to, which often you can, but there are different ways on how you can do it. You being able to do it may mean that you asking for help on how to do it. In case point, for me with these videos, I can sit down and record it, but I can't edit them. I have a buddy of mine who does all my edits. So that's not me saying, oh man, I can't do YouTube because I don't know how to do it, or I don't know how to make all of these cool transitions and put the background music, all these things. No, that just means either A, I got to learn it, or B, I'm gonna find someone who already does know how to do it and let them do it. I chose the latter. So it's about figuring out and changing, and also understanding your own sense of self and where you are in this. And honestly, this is kind of the bombshell, is that being excellent, being great, isn't for everyone. I know, right? I'm sorry to put you down, but that's the truth. It's not for everyone, because it's a difficult journey, and it's one that once you start, you don't want to stop. And it's one of those it gets easier as you go along, but also the demand for it gets higher. It's a weird thing to think about, but you have to be better than what you did yesterday, what you did last week, what you did last month. You're never really satisfied. You're always striving to be better than you were last time, and whatever that means to you. And for me, being excellent means to just show up every day and making sure I get done what I need to get done. I don't want to be I don't want to be a perfectionist because I have been in the past, and let's be honest, I still kind of am. But I know in my mind that, okay, I just need to show up and do better and do my best and make sure that I do what I said I'm gonna do, essentially. And honestly, is make sure I don't lose sight of why I'm doing all this in the first place, with my podcast, with this YouTube channel, and not getting so caught up in all the minor details and just focusing on the message and make sure that I get the stuff out there for you guys. And as long as I take something, from your comments, something from my own learning when I'm doing all this stuff and applying it, that's what my idea of excellence is. Try to get better and improve each and every time I sit down to do this. And honestly, again, it's about how it applies to you, how you internalize your own idea of greatness and excellence. So what are some of the steps that you need to take? And I'm not going to say what we all usually hear on these type of super motivational videos, and is that you need to have discipline, you need to be consistent, you need to celebrate the small wins, take bigger problems and break them down to small one. I'm not going to repeat all of that, because all of those are valid. Don't get me wrong, all of those are valid, and they're definitely necessary in order to get to that next level. To achieve greatness, you need to have those foundational skills. But in this video, I wanted to talk about something that's a little bit different, and honestly, the way I believe it's the foundation for all of these things. And that is the idea of sacrifice. And no, I'm not talking about the old school biblical ones. You don't need to go out and find a lamb or a goat, and we're not doing it. Let's be practical. But what I mean by sacrifice is that, hey, nothing in this world is free. Everything comes with a price. Even those free samples, somebody had to pay for it in order for them to get made, right? There's nothing free. There's nothing free. That's a myth. I know. I'm sorry I had to do it to you. My bubble was burst when I was little too, but hey, that's what it is. But again, everything has a price, and the price for excellence is sacrifice. And because in order to be the best, you have to be willing to, sacrifice your time, your energy, your resources, money. You have to be willing to sacrifice even some relationships. As you're growing as a person, to be the best that you need to be, you're gonna eventually let go of some of your old relationships that you had before, and not because they're bad or anything like that, but because you're just outgrowing that phase of your life. And honestly, sometimes it also means you got to sacrifice some temporary comfort. I know. I think that's the scariest one of all. Being able to sacrifice your comfort for now, just so you can achieve what you want later on, is honestly is a skill that has to be learned and mastered to even really begin this journey. You have to understand that concept that, okay, getting up early to work out, or getting up or staying late to work on your business, to work on, something that's going to pay off in the long term, whether it's business or whether it's a degree, whether it's, certifications for your job, whatever it is that you're working on to better your life down the road, it's going to require some sacrifice up front. And I think it's one of those things that we do all the time anyway, but it's not something that people pay a lot of attention to, in the fact that, hey, we need to, we got to give up some stuff. We have to give some things up. And back to what I was talking about during my fast on one of my previous videos, it was the fasting, literally you're sacrificing something to get, to spend more time with God, right? To grow your connection with Him. Most times it's food, but really fasting is about, in the spiritual sense, is about just giving up something that you enjoy, something that means a lot to you, in order to show that, hey, God, you mean more to me than this thing. And again, that's the idea of sacrifice. You sacrifice something now to achieve a greater result later, which ultimately, in this case, is the relationship with God. But overall, it's the greatness and excellence that you're striving for. And again, I'm not saying to be a workaholic and to not enjoy the life that you're currently building. I'm saying that you you know, you need to find a balance. And it was funny that, because my dad used to tell me this all the time. He used to come in and just say, hey kiddo, I'm just here to check on you, making sure you're not burning yourself out, or doing all the different things that you're trying to do, in that you have some balance. And for me, it threw me off, because all the motivation videos I've seen, all the ones who have made it, they are talking about grinding and just being in the grind, staying on your grind all the time, staying up late, waking up early, all these different things. And so when I get my dad coming to me saying, you need to find some balance with all this, I was just like, that's odd. You know what I'm saying? So I said, that goes directly against everything I've just been watching or listening to or whatever. But the way I look at it now is that neither one of those approaches are wrong. It's all about how you apply them, because these things, like life, comes in seasons, comes in phases. So for me, balance is understanding what phase you are in. If you're in the beginning of something, you're going to have to grind. You're going to have to sacrifice your time, your sleep, maybe some time with your family, not too much, but again, sacrifices have to be made. And then once you are established, maybe you're not where you want to be yet, but you're way further than when you started off as. Now it's time, okay, let me take the foot off the gas just a little bit to recoup, to recharge, to refocus, and make sure that I remember why I started this and what the vision is going to look like. And that way you're centered, you're not getting burnt out, and you're able to come back at it even harder than before. So that's what I look at for balance. That's how I understand balance as, is to understand what season you're in and to know when it's time to grind and when it's time to rest. Because otherwise you're going to get burnt out and you're never going to realize that dream. You're never going to achieve greatness because you died halfway through, right? And I don't want any of us to die trying to live our lives to the fullest, right? So remember, you guys, excellence is not someone else's dream for you, but it's what does it mean to you? How can you achieve it? And why are you even striving for it in the first place? And once you have all of that figured out, make sure that you understand, is this the time to grind or is it the time to rest? And because, hey, even God rested, right? On the seventh day, he rested. Like he grinded it out for 6 days straight. And the seventh day, he said, nope, I'm done. I'm going to take a break, rest, and then we're going to get back to it. So if he can do it, then it's okay for us to do it, right? So I want you guys to understand that and really get that in your head. So I'm going to leave you with this. Do you have what it takes to be excellent? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.